Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see a large crowd here today, and we're a couple of minutes past on-time performance, being a former airline guy, but I think we can make up that time here as we move forward. Thank you for joining us here today at Springbank Airport, or YBW for those of us that have been in the aviation circles a little longer than others. There'll be a test later to see who can name the most three-letter codes around the planet, of course. My name is Richard Gottfried. I'm the MLA for Calgary-Fish Creek and Chair of Alberta's Strategic Aviation Advisory Council, and it's my pleasure to be the MC for today's event. I'd first like to start by recognizing our special guests. First, we have the Honourable Demetrios Nicolaides, the Minister of Advanced Education, Tim Rowley, President of Mount Royal University, Jennifer Boo, Chief Financial Officer for WestJet, and last but not least, Ashley Morrow, MRU student in aviation. Thank you for being here today for today's important and I think what you will find are impactful announcements. We will first welcome remarks from each of our honored guests, Minister Nicolaides, MRU President Rowley, WestJet Jennifer Boo, and MRU student Ashley Morrow. Following, there will be ample opportunity for media questions, so please hold them until the end of the presentations and announcements. Well, as we get clearance from the tower and get ready for takeoff, and I know I was bugged a little bit earlier about using some of these aviation terms here, but we're ready for takeoff here, and amongst these planes here, I think it's very appropriate to be out here at the MRU site and hangar out here at Springbank Airport. And firstly, I am pleased to invite the Minister of Advanced Education, the Honourable Demetrios Nicolaides, to say a few words. Minister.
Yeah, we were chatting in the back about all of the different airline and aviation puns that we could use today. And so, Richard, thank you for incorporating those. Maybe I can toss one in as well. I guess I could say that I have my speaking notes, but instead of using them, I'll just wing it. But maybe that's a little too cheesy. Anyway, I could probably go on with those puns for quite a while, but I won't. Nonetheless, before I jump into things here, I just want to thank my colleague, MLA Richard Gottfried, for his leadership in the Aviation Strategic Council and his advocacy for this important industry. As well, I want to thank and acknowledge Tim Rowley, President of Mount Royal University, for being here with us. Jennifer Boo, Chief Financial Officer of WestJet, thank you for joining us. And as well, Ashley Morrow, that we'll hear more of as a student with Mount Royal University. It's a pleasure for me to be back here at Mount Royal's Springbank campus. When I was here last time, I think it was May of last year, it was a little warmer than it is today, but spring is just around the corner. And I just want to start by talking a little bit about where we find ourselves today. You know, the Alberta economy is incredibly strong, and we are really set for a period of significant growth and prosperity. Investment is returning to our province, and people are flocking to Alberta once again in search of a more affordable lifestyle and in search of the chance to get ahead. Examples of Alberta's strong economy are everywhere. De Havilland recently announced that its new state-of-the-art aircraft manufacturing center would be right here in Alberta. Alberta is also setting new records for venture capital investment, and as I'm sure most of you know, HBO's The Last of Us, the biggest production in Canadian history, happened right here in our incredible province. As well, in early October, the government of Alberta announced a new MOU with WestJet that will make Alberta a hub for aviation, for the aviation industry. WestJet announced that Calgary Airport will be the airline's only connecting hub. This means if you are connecting on WestJet's network, you will be coming through Calgary. And in addition, they announced that all of their 787 Dreamliners will be based here in Calgary I believe, by the end of this summer. In addition, the government of Alberta also committed $73 million to support aviation and tourism as part of that MOU. As well, just a few weeks ago, WestJet announced its largest network expansion from Edmonton in the airline's history with the launch of new U.S. routes and more domestic connections. With commitments from WestJet, new operations from de Havilland, the launch of Lynx Air, Calgary-based airline, Alberta is ready to become Canada's aviation home. At the same time, Alberta and Canada as a whole are facing acute shortages in the aviation sector. According to Transport Canada, in a typical pre-pandemic year, around 1,000 pilot licenses were issued every year. In 2022, only 238 licenses were issued. COVID-related travel restrictions and other challenges have led to a collapse in student demand. There is no question Canada is facing a severe shortage of pilots and other airline workers and professionals. By 2025, Canada is projected to face a shortage of 3,000 pilots and 55,000 workers overall in the aviation sector. We must take action now to support Alberta's growing aviation sector and deal with many of the projected shortages. To achieve this goal, there is more that we need to do, and in particular, the Ministry of Advanced Education must do more to encourage more young people to pursue careers in aviation. And that brings us to today. And I am very pleased to announce that Alberta's government will invest $11 million over 3 years to grow Alberta's aviation sector. This investment will make sure that Alberta becomes the home for Canada's aviation industry. Let me walk you through how this $11 million will be spent. First and foremost, $6 million will go to help Mount Royal University establish a new Bachelor of Aviation Management degree. Unlike the aviation diploma program currently offered at Mount Royal University, students seeking admission do not have to have a private pilot's license. The proposed program is a standard 120-credit degree, and while there is only one generalized major, aviation management, the institution is offering the program with 2 different 6-course concentrations. One concentration in flight crew operations offers a commercial pilot and multi-engine instrument rating course to prepare students for a role as a pilot, as well as other courses designed to prepare them for management opportunities in their flying careers. The other concentration in aviation operation focuses on greater development of management skills and specific aviation business content. This will put Alberta on the map, as there are only a small handful of institutions across Canada that offer a bachelor's degree in aviation. Secondly, $4.5 million is being invested to create a new air access bursary. Pilot training is not cheap. On average, it can cost $70,000 to $80,000 to train as a pilot, and financial inaccessibility reduces the potential pool of pilots. The new bursary will support 450 students over 3 years. Eligible aviation students will be able to access $10,000 in non-repayable financial assistance to support their studies. This relieves the burden of the high cost of the program and the pressure of student loans. And third and finally, we are also providing $500,000 to support the planning and development of a new Center of Aviation Excellence. Working in partnership with WestJet, the Center of Excellence will accelerate pilot training and meet the growing demand for skilled pilots. And so in closing, as you can see, this investment will make sure that Alberta becomes the home for Canada's aviation industry. Today's investment is just a small part of our government's work to ensure that our aviation sector stays strong and has a foundation for future growth, letting it soar to new heights. I look forward to seeing the plans for the Center of Excellence and wish the best to all students who will benefit. Thank you again to Mount Royal University for hosting us. Thank you to WestJet for your contributions and your vote of confidence in Alberta's future. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Nicolaides. Some great news for us here. And as somebody who has never been a pilot but spent 20 years in the airline industry, the aviation degree program is a welcome sight for us, and I think will establish us even more solidly as a leader in aviation. I would now like to invite Tim Rowley, MRU President, to the podium. President Rowley.
Good afternoon, everyone. Delighted to be here. I think that any aviation announcement usually starts with a safety briefing, so please make note of the emergency exits and the one in the rear only to be used under the supervision of a trained flight attendant. It is my great pleasure to join you all here today and to join the Minister. Always a pleasure to have you on campus, Minister Nicolaides, and a thank you, MLA Gottfried, for being with us. Great to learn of your experience in the aviation industry, and we exchange a few words about my short time in the industry myself. Funding towards the anticipated Bachelor of Aviation Management program is so welcomed at Mount Royal University, and it supports our future vision for Alberta's economy and increasing access for Alberta students in high-demand areas like aviation. This degree will be, as the Minister indicated, the first of its kind in Alberta, and it joins an elite number of programs across Canada. And we recognize that aviation is indeed an economic driver for our area, and the shortage of pilots is a concern for industry. Mount Royal's two-year aviation diploma is obviously in its current state a wonderful program, but we're so excited about the next phase for us, and offering programs integrating academic preparation, flight simulator training for a commercial pilot license, and multi-engine instrument ratings is so vital. Today's aviation industry offers many challenging career opportunities, and MRU is so excited to continue working with government and industry partners to find ways for aviation programs to expand and contribute to Alberta's future. I know how important increased access to financial supports like the Air Access Bursary is to our students, and I look out here and thank you for joining us, students. I look at our students and think of the immense potential for them and for our industry. An exemplary undergraduate student experience is centered to the Mount Royal student experience, and we're so proud that this learning experience will be expanded through our aviation programs. I'm also looking forward to hearing from our own student, Ashley Morrow, next, and I'll let, obviously, MLA Gottfried introduce her. But on behalf of Mount Royal University and our students, thank you so much for all of your supports for the aviation industry and for the expanded growth. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, President. Actually, we're going to save Ashley till the end to really tell us the impact of this. So thank you for the exciting news and for truly the jet-propelled opportunity that MRU here's to spread the aviation wings across Alberta. I would now like to invite Jennifer Boo, Chief Financial Officer for WestJet, to join the podium. Please join me in welcoming Jennifer.
Thank you. So my name is Jennifer Boo. I'm the interim CFO at WestJet. So it was 27 years ago that WestJet's first flight took off. Here in Calgary, we had a fleet of only 3 aircraft, and we served only 5 destinations across the country. But look at today, where we're a family of WestJetters that looks after more than 25 million passengers annually. We travel to over 100 destinations all over the world, and we need more WestJetters to fuel our ambition. And today's announcement will help us continue to increase our employee base right here in Alberta. Calgary is now designated as our single global hub for all of our 787 Dreamliner flights. As part of our summer schedule announcement earlier this week, you'll see us begin to offer flights to Tokyo, to Barcelona, to Washington, D.C., direct from Calgary here this summer. Yes, WestJet is growing. We are investing in aircraft capacity with the largest order book in Canada, an asset value in excess of $7 billion to be deployed right here in Alberta. This will result in WestJet increasing our seat capacity by over 80% in Calgary by 2028. We'll significantly grow our presence out west, offering more direct, more nonstop flights to many destinations and many communities. Through all of it, we are still an Alberta company, and we believe in the future of aviation right here in Alberta. And that's why we're really excited about today's announcement. So last October, as many of you know, WestJet signed a historic memorandum of understanding with the government of Alberta. This is a game changer. This is the first of its kind of partnership that will make this province the most competitive aviation market in Canada and improve skilled labor right here for the aviation sector. A lot of that is happening here. Mount Royal University here in Calgary has elite programs offering academic preparation along with commercial pilot, multi-engine, instrument, and simulator training. We are happy to see the funding commitment today that will support the big and growing demand for aviation pilots and professionals in the industry. Similarly, we are very excited about the announcement of funding today that will support the planning for a Center of Excellence training for the aviation community. This Center of Excellence will ensure that advanced aviation training is completed here in Alberta rather than abroad. As today is International Women's Day, and similarly, this is Women in Aviation Week, WestJet wants to acknowledge that only 7% of our pilots are women. That's high for the sector, but we know that it is underrepresented. And with today's announcements, we are confident that we will be able to grow our female presence not only in our flight deck, but also within our entire organization. We are at an exciting and pivotal moment for our industry and for our airline. This is about more than WestJet, and this is about securing the long-term future of aviation in this province. Alberta's aviation, aerospace, logistics industries employ tens of thousands of people and are an important part of WestJet and the Alberta's growing and diversifying economy. The pandemic highlighted the importance of partnership, and there has been no better partnership than the government of Alberta. While aviation is federally regulated, we know that we are critically important provincially. Working with the government of Alberta, with Mount Royal University, we are so proud to pave the way for the future of aviation and WestJet's continued growth right here in Alberta. So thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you for pointing out, of course, that today is also the International Women's Day, and I'm very pleased to say that my vice chair on the Strategic Aviation Advisory Council is one of the leaders in Canada, in fact around the world, in attracting women and other underrepresented groups into aviation. So we're going to need them here, as we can see with all the growth that's happening today. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, of course, we have remarks here from one of our students. And at this point in time, I would like to, if I can find my notes here, actually I don't need them for this, but this is all about the students and the intake and inspiring a next generation of Albertans to move forward. And we need to reach them at elementary school, junior high school level, and to create pathways for them to soar into this incredible industry where there's going to be so much opportunity, as we can see with WestJet, with the academic world here. We're going to need instructors with the de Havilland announcements here. The opportunities are limitless, and the breadth of those jobs available is absolutely incredible. So to hear from one of the students here, I'd like to ask Ashley Morrow to come to the stage here and to share with us her story and what she is hearing from her peers who are excited about what's happening in Alberta aviation. Ashley?
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy International Women's Day. And thank you very much for the introduction, Mr. Gottfried. It is my pleasure to speak to all of you today. My name is Ashley Morrow, and I am in my second and final year of the Mount Royal University Aviation Diploma Program. I first became interested in pursuing a career in aviation when I spent a semester studying abroad while completing a Bachelor of Arts degree in International Relations at the University of British Columbia. After graduation, I was hired by Air Canada and worked as a flight attendant for 2 years. It was during those 2 years that I truly fell in love with aviation and flying in particular. Unfortunately, I was laid off at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, as were so many others, and left with much uncertainty as to what the future held for the aviation industry. I felt like my career was only just beginning, and I knew that I was not ready to leave the industry. So, after much consideration, I made the difficult decision to leave my position as a flight attendant and to use my layoff as an opportunity to begin the rather ambitious journey to becoming a pilot. I had heard of the Mount Royal University Aviation Diploma Program during my years working in the industry, and it had always been spoken very highly of among flight crew. I knew that the program would offer me the greatest chance of success in my career as a pilot. As challenging as the program is, it is even more rewarding. I can tell you my dedication has been tested on many late nights when doing a pre-flight walk around out on the ramp in the dark in -20. However, that first takeoff on the Piper Seneca twin engine made it all worth it. A bursary would have made a difference for me during my time at MRU. Not only did I have to consider the cost of the aviation program itself, but also the opportunity cost of leaving full-time employment. I believe that the expenses associated with flight training act as a strong barrier to entry for many potential candidates. My hope is that a new aviation bursary will make the program more accessible to prospective students of all backgrounds and encourage more diversity in the industry. Thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to speak to all of you today, and thank you for your support in the program.
Well, I think that's another great story and a reason for us to thank you, Minister, for this investment. Thank the Alberta government. And it is a way for us to find that pathway, that flight path, I guess, again, just to go there for a real return and a strengthening of the Alberta advantage. So we thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, today's announcements allow us to reflect on the attraction of de Havilland Canada's head office to Calgary, the commitment to Wheatland County for de Havilland Field, WestJet's grateful commitment to the YYC hub as the heart of their domestic transporter and global operations, and now the investment in increased capacity through our post-secondary partners in developing, attracting, and retaining the skills and talent necessary for a sector that is truly ready to take flight. I'd be remiss here probably if I didn't announce or reflect upon some of the support that has also been given to SADN in terms of increasing their AME capacity, aircraft maintenance engineer capacity there. They go hand in hand. We can't have pilots flying planes without them being safe and well maintained. And Alberta can be a hub for that as well, already is, and here we are, a great opportunity to expand that through the jobs that will be available through WestJet, de Havilland, and other employers here. So that is great news, and I know we also have representation here from Invest Alberta, who I know has been diligently working on opportunities to attract further investment through these as catalysts for greater opportunities in the future. So ladies and gentlemen, our honored guests, this concludes the formal portion of today's announcement, and I want to thank all of our speakers for being here today, our hosts here at Springbank Airport and the MRU Springbank campus hangar, and I look forward to seeing all of you prove that the sky is indeed the limit when it comes to Alberta's aviation dreams, ambitions, and potential. Thank you. I now believe that we'll have, here we go, thank you, Sam.
We'll now go into the media Q&A portion of our announcement today. We'll be doing one question, one follow-up. I know we have a couple cameras in the room. There's a mic at the back of the room if you have any questions. And seeing none, we'll go to the phones. Operator, could you put through the first caller, please?
Yes, Catherine Krakowski, Alberta Today.
Thanks for taking my question from YEG. I believe this question would be for Richard Gottfried. So today we're hearing about pilot training. We also heard a little bit about tourism. And I'm wondering what other updates you can give about the strategic Aviation Advisory Council's work on some of those other areas, air cargo services, aerospace research and development, agriculture, emergency medical, fire response. Where are we at with some of those recommendations?
Thank you. Thank you for the question today. We're not here specifically to talk about the Strategic Aviation Advisory Council, but I am very honored to chair that. We have Elizabeth Evans, who sits on the council here with us today, and I mentioned earlier we also have Kendra Kincaid from Elevate Aviation as my vice chair for that organization. The creation of the Strategic Aviation Advisory Council was a private members bill that I was honored to be the sponsor of. And so we've just been in operation about a year, and I can tell you the list of some of the opportunities for us is long. I got into it originally because of air services issues as a former airline employee who worked for an international airline, and certainly that was one of my early impetus. But I've learned so much about the opportunities, about the educational opportunities, about the investment and employment and job creation opportunities, about, as I think you referenced, some of the fire rescue and emergency management services. We have talked to and engaged with people across that. There's also agriculture, forestry. Those are all parts of Alberta aviation. And we have to also reflect on the fact that in the past, Alberta has been famous for our pioneering spirit in aviation, not only with the bush pilots that really were the pioneers, sometimes by the seat of their pants, flying all across northern Alberta and opening up the north, quite frankly, but also our status as one of the largest training locations for the British Commonwealth Air Training Program, 130,000 pilots trained right here in Alberta that changed the outcome of World War II. So we have this rich aviation history. There's a lot of work we're doing at the Aviation Council. In fact, it's coming at us rather quickly. We have made some recommendations through the Minister of Transportation, who is our host ministry, but we have the ability to make recommendations across all ministries in government and to hold them to account on that. In some cases, like today's announcement, they're actually getting ahead of our recommendations in some respects, some of which we've been speaking with them about on an ongoing basis, but in fact, they have moved ahead of us. And that's the way I like to see how government moves. So hopefully that will answer your questions. And certainly I'm always available for conversations about the Strategic Aviation Advisory Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine, did you have a follow-up to that?
Yeah, so I wonder, there's going to be more spaces in this program. What are you going to do to make sure people know about this program, make sure people actually take you up on the offer of bursaries? How are we going to actually attract people to this field?
Sure, Catherine, I'll jump in a little bit with that. I think that obviously, I think today is an important step of that, of making this announcement, indicating that we're working with Mount Royal in the development of this new bachelor's degree in aviation, and that we're creating this new bursary. Of course, I think it takes time, and this is one of the challenges that we see not just in aviation, but in a variety of other industries. We need more workers in a variety of different industries. We need more graduates, whether it's in aviation, tech, in the trades, and in so many other areas. And we need to think of additional strategies to help encourage young people to see these opportunities, to recognize the bursaries, the financial assistance that's available. As an example, we have the New Beginnings bursary that's available for students that are enrolled in particular programs where there's incredibly high demand. So a lot of these initiatives have just started as of recently, but I think we'll continue to try and market these and press these. And I think, as MLA Gottfried mentioned, I think there's some work that we can do potentially with our counterparts in education to try and help students at an earlier and younger age have more line of sight as to some of these growing opportunities as they're moving through the latter stages of their K-12 education. So I think we still have to think as a government across all ministries to what more there is that we can do to help get the word out and encourage more young Albertans to look at these fields, not just in aviation, but in so many other areas where we need more young people to step up.
Thank you for that, Catherine. And operator, do we have any other callers on the line?
There are no additional questions on the line at this time.
Thank you. And seeing no additional questions in the room, that'll conclude today's announcement. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.